There is a profound power in silence, not the silence of emptiness, not the absence of sound, but the deep, intelligent stillness where all creation begins. In a world that constantly demands action, reaction, and endless striving, we have been conditioned to believe that success, happiness, and fulfillment must be chased, fought for, and earned through struggle. But what if the very act of chasing is what keeps what you desire just out of reach? What if the secret to everything you want is not in doing more, but in becoming still? So still that life itself begins to move toward you. Think of the ocean. The deeper you go, the calmer it becomes. On the surface, there are waves, chaos, and constant motion, but beneath it all, there is a vast stillness. That stillness is where true power resides. The same is true for you. When your mind is quiet, when your energy is aligned, and when you stop grasping at the future, you become magnetic to everything you once struggled for. In that space, the universe begins to respond, not to your effort, but to your energy. What if you stopped forcing and allowed everything to come to you naturally? Silence is the gateway to creation. In a world driven by noise, constant stimulation, and an endless cycle of doing, the idea of stillness is often overlooked. Yet it is in this very silence that the foundation of transformation and manifestation is built. The mind, conditioned by external distractions, operates in survival mode, always thinking, analyzing, and trying to control outcomes. But true creation does not happen from this space. True creation arises from the void, the space of nothingness, where pure potential exists. Imagine a vast ocean, still and undisturbed. When the surface is calm, it reflects everything around it with perfect clarity. However, when it is turbulent, the reflections become distorted and the depth beneath becomes impossible to see. The same is true for the human mind. When it is filled with constant thoughts, emotions, and reactions to the external world, it becomes clouded, unable to perceive the infinite possibilities available. But when the mind is quiet, when one allows silence to take over, something profound happens. The noise fades, the chatter subsides, and what remains is the field of pure consciousness, an open space where anything can be created. Most people live their lives reacting to the world outside of them. They wake up, check their phones, respond to messages, worry about their to-do lists, and immediately engage with the chaos of the external environment. This pattern keeps them locked in a state of reactivity, where their thoughts are dictated by circumstances rather than by intention. However, when one chooses silence, they step into the space of creation rather than reaction. In silence, the brain moves away from beta brain waves associated with high stress and overthinking into slower, more coherent frequencies like alpha and theta. These are the frequencies of deep meditation, intuition, and heightened awareness. In this state, the body no longer operates from survival. It moves into expansion, the heart and brain synchronize, the nervous system calms, and the body begins to align with the frequency of the quantum field, the realm where all possibilities exist. Science has shown that when an individual enters this deep state of stillness, the brain releases neurochemicals like serotonin and oxytocin, which create a state of inner peace and joy. These emotions are not dependent on external events. They arise simply from being in the present moment. And in that moment, without resistance, without effort, creation begins. The process of manifestation does not start with physical action. It starts in the mind, in the invisible realm of thoughts and energy. Every great idea, every invention, every breakthrough in human history began in silence. Think of great visionaries, artists, thinkers. Their most profound insights did not come when they were consumed by distractions. They came in solitude, in moments of deep contemplation, where they tapped into something beyond themselves. This is because silence is not empty. It is full of infinite intelligence, waiting to be accessed. The quantum field, the space of all potential realities, does not respond to effort. It responds to energy. When an individual remains silent, they remove themselves from the conditioned patterns of the past. They no longer repeat the same thoughts and emotions that keep them trapped in their current reality. Instead, they create a new energetic signature, one that aligns with the future they desire. This is why stillness is the key to transformation. It allows a person to step beyond their old identity and into the unknown, where new possibilities emerge. One of the most powerful aspects of silence is its ability to reveal what truly matters. When external noise fades, inner wisdom surfaces. Answers that seemed elusive suddenly become clear. Decisions that once felt overwhelming now feel obvious. The more a person practices silence, the more they realize that the solutions they were searching for were never outside of them. They were always within, waiting to be discovered. This is why many ancient traditions and spiritual practices emphasize the power of stillness. Whether through meditation, breath work, or deep contemplation, the goal is always the same: to quiet the mind so the soul can speak. It is also in silence that one connects to the energy of trust. Most people spend their lives trying to control outcomes, believing that through force and struggle they will achieve their desires. But creation does not work this way. The universe does not respond to desperation, it responds to alignment. When one surrenders to silence, they move into a state of deep trust, allowing life to unfold naturally. And paradoxically, it is in this state of surrender that the greatest manifestations occur. Because when the mind is no longer resisting, the energy is free to flow, and the universe delivers what is in vibrational harmony with that state. Silence is not passive, it is an active state of creation. It is in this space that new realities are birthed, that the past dissolves and the future is rewritten. The more one embraces it, the more they realize that everything they have been seeking is not found in the external world, but in the vast, infinite space within. Stillness is one of the most powerful yet overlooked forces in the universe. In a world where movement, action, and noise dominate, stillness is often misunderstood as inaction. But in reality, stillness is a gateway to a deeper intelligence, a state where creation unfolds effortlessly. When one learns to access this space, they move beyond the limitations of the analytical mind and step into a realm where thoughts, energy, and reality begin to align in perfect harmony. The human mind is conditioned to be constantly engaged, thinking, planning, analyzing, and reacting. This state of perpetual activity keeps the brain locked in high beta frequencies, the range associated with stress, anxiety, and overthinking. In this state, a person is not truly creating. They are merely recycling old thoughts, reliving past experiences, and projecting them onto the future. But when the mind becomes still, when the constant chatter fades, a new dimension of awareness opens. It is in this silence that true transformation occurs. When a person enters deep stillness, the brain naturally shifts from beta waves into alpha and theta waves. These lower frequencies are associated with creativity, intuition, and deep relaxation. Alpha waves create a bridge between the conscious and subconscious mind, allowing access to the deeper intelligence that lies beyond rational thought. Theta waves, often experienced in deep meditation, open the door to heightened states of awareness, where insight, clarity, and healing become possible. This is why stillness is not just about relaxation. It is about stepping into an entirely new way of being. In this state of stillness, a person is no longer bound by their old patterns of thinking. The usual stories of fear, doubt, and limitation dissolve. Instead of being caught in the endless loop of mental activity, they become an observer, detached from the emotional charge of their past. This detachment is crucial because it allows the nervous system to regulate itself, shifting from survival mode into a state of coherence. When the body is no longer reacting to external stressors, energy that was once scattered becomes concentrated, focused, and powerful. Most people operate from a place of control, believing that they must constantly be doing something to achieve results. This belief stems from a deep-seated fear of the unknown. The mind wants certainty, and it believes that by taking constant action, it can force reality to conform to its expectations. But this approach is often counterproductive. When a person is always chasing, striving, and pushing, they are signaling to the universe that they do not already have what they seek. This creates resistance because their energy is rooted in lack. Stillness, on the other hand, sends a completely different signal. When one becomes still, they are demonstrating trust. Trust in themselves, trust in the process, and trust in the intelligence that governs all things. The heart plays a significant role in this process. Studies in neuroscience and quantum physics have shown that when the brain and heart are in coherence, meaning their rhythms are synchronized. A powerful electromagnetic field is created. This field is not just an abstract concept, it is measurable and it influences the space around us. When a person enters a state of stillness and coherence, they become a magnet for the reality they wish to experience. This is not because of mere positive thinking, but because they have shifted their energy to match the frequency of their desires. Stillness also allows for a deeper connection to intuition. In everyday life, intuition is often drowned out by the noise of the external world, the opinions of others, the distractions of technology, the pressure of responsibilities. But when the mind becomes quiet, intuition becomes louder. It emerges as a knowing, a sense of direction that does not come from logic, but from a deeper understanding of the flow of life. This is why many of the greatest breakthroughs, creative ideas, and profound insights come in moments of stillness. They do not come from force, they come from allowing. Beyond personal transformation, stillness has a direct impact on the physical body. When a person is in a constant state of stress and mental activity, the body remains in fight or flight mode, releasing cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, this leads to burnout, fatigue, and even disease. However, when one enters a state of deep stillness, the body activates the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for healing and regeneration. The immune system strengthens, inflammation decreases, and the body begins to repair itself at a cellular level. This is why meditation, deep breathing, and stillness practices have been shown to reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and even improve overall longevity. The beauty of stillness is that it requires nothing external. It is always accessible, always present, waiting to be embraced. It does not require effort, only the willingness to let go of the need for control. And in that letting go, the most extraordinary shifts begin to take place. The human mind is an incredible tool, but for most people, it has become a source of limitation rather than expansion. The tendency to overthink, analyze, and constantly chase outcomes traps people in a cycle of stress, frustration, and resistance. This is because the mind, when left unchecked, operates from past conditioning. It is always trying to predict, control, and solve problems based on previous experiences. But the truth is, the more one tries to force things into place, the more elusive they become. This is why stepping beyond the noise of the mind is essential. It is only when one stops chasing that they allow life to flow naturally. Most people wake up and immediately enter a state of reaction. They check their phones, respond to messages, think about their responsibilities, and replay past experiences. Without realizing it, they are repeating the same mental and emotional patterns that keep them stuck in a predictable reality. The mind is so conditioned to seek control that it resists uncertainty. It clings to familiar thoughts, even if those thoughts are not serving them. But this cycle can only be broken by stepping beyond the noise, by shifting from the thinking mind into the feeling body. Thinking is limited. It is based on logic, reasoning, and past experiences. Feeling, however, is infinite. It connects a person to the present moment, to intuition, and to the deeper intelligence that orchestrates all of life. When one relies solely on thought, they are bound by what they already know. But when they trust feeling, they open themselves up to new possibilities, ones they could never predict or plan. This is why some of the most profound moments in life happen unexpectedly. They are not forced into existence, they arise naturally when a person lets go of control. The problem with overthinking is that it creates resistance. The more one obsesses over how and when something will happen, the more they signal to the universe that they do not yet have it. This keeps them in a state of lack, which in turn repels the very thing they are trying to attract. Energy flows where attention goes, and if attention is focused on fear, doubt, or impatience, that is exactly what is amplified. The key is to shift from mental effort to energetic alignment. Instead of trying to figure everything out, one must learn to trust the process, to embody the feeling of already having what they desire. When a person truly surrenders to this state of trust, something remarkable happens. The brain waves slow down, the nervous system relaxes, and the heart enters coherence. This creates a shift in the electromagnetic field surrounding the body. The field of energy they emit no longer carries the frequency of desperation or struggle. It carries the frequency of certainty and gratitude. And because reality is not fixed but fluid, the external world begins to rearrange itself to match this new energetic signature. One of the greatest misconceptions is that success, love, healing, or any other desired outcome must be pursued with effort. But effort, when driven by the analytical mind, often stems from fear: the fear of not having, the fear of missing out, the fear of failure. True creation does not come from fear, it comes from presence. It comes from the ability to sit in stillness, to trust that what is meant to happen will unfold in perfect timing. This does not mean one should avoid action altogether. Rather, it means action should come from a place of inspiration rather than struggle. Inspired action feels effortless, natural, and aligned. It is not forced, it flows. The reason many people struggle to trust this process is because they are addicted to certainty. The ego wants a roadmap, a guarantee, a logical sequence of steps. But the most profound transformations occur outside the realm of logic. They happen in the unknown, in the space where possibilities exist beyond what the mind can comprehend. This is why stepping beyond the noise of the mind is so crucial. It allows a person to move from a limited linear way of thinking into a multidimensional way of being. Many people fear stillness because they associate it with doing nothing. But stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is the space where answers emerge, where creativity is born, where solutions present themselves without effort. The most extraordinary ideas, insights, and breakthroughs often come not when one is actively searching, but when they are simply present. The mind may not understand how or why this works, but the deeper intelligence within does. The heart knows, the body knows, and when one finally quiets the noise, they begin to hear the truth that has been waiting for them all along. When a person stops forcing and starts being, their entire energy shifts. The human tendency is to push, control, and manipulate outcomes, believing that success, love, or happiness must be earned through struggle. But the truth is, reality responds not to effort, but to energy. The universe does not operate based on how much one does. It operates based on the frequency one emits. When a person is in a state of stress, worry, or desperation, they radiate incoherence, signaling to the quantum field that they are separate from what they desire. This creates resistance. The more one chases something, the more they reinforce the belief that they do not yet have it, which keeps it just out of reach. Surrender is not about giving up. It is about stepping into alignment. It is about understanding that when the heart and mind are in coherence, life flows naturally. Imagine two magnets. If they are in alignment, they come together effortlessly. But if they are even slightly off, they repel each other. This is exactly how energy works. If a person constantly doubts, overthinks, or feels unworthy, they are out of sync with the very thing they are trying to attract. But when they shift into trust, gratitude, and knowing, they become a vibrational match for their desires, and reality begins to mirror this inner state. The key to this shift lies in surrendering control. Most people believe they must force their way through life, taking relentless action to prove their worthiness. But this approach is based on a deep-seated fear, the fear that if they do not struggle, they will not receive what they want. However, quantum physics and neuroscience reveal a different truth. The energy one embodies is far more powerful than the actions they take. When a person operates from a state of ease and trust, they naturally enter a flow state, where synchronicities occur, doors open effortlessly, and solutions present themselves without force. One of the most profound shifts a person can make is moving from expectation to embodiment. Expectation is rooted in waiting. It says, I will be happy when this happens, but embodiment says, I am already the person who has this. This distinction is critical because reality reflects back whatever one consistently feels. If a person wakes up each day feeling abundant, joyful, and complete, they are broadcasting a signal that matches abundance, joy, and fulfillment. The external world must respond accordingly. But if they wake up feeling anxious, doubtful, or lacking, they reinforce those very experiences. This is why surrender is a powerful energetic state. It allows a person to let go of resistance and shift into alignment with their highest potential. Instead of chasing opportunities, they become the kind of person who naturally attracts them. Instead of forcing relationships, they embody the love and wholeness that makes them magnetic to deep connections. Instead of worrying about success, they align with the energy of purpose and trust, allowing success to flow to them. Many people struggle with surrender because they equate it with passivity. They fear that if they stop pushing, nothing will happen. But the opposite is true. The moment one stops forcing and starts trusting, their energy becomes coherent, and the quantum field begins rearranging circumstances in their favor. This is not magic, it is physics. Everything in the universe is energy, and energy responds to coherence. When the heart and mind are synchronized, when emotions and thoughts are in harmony, a person's field becomes strong, stable, and magnetic. One of the clearest examples of this can be seen in nature. A river does not struggle to reach the ocean. It flows effortlessly, guided by the path of least resistance. The seasons do not force their change. They transition naturally in perfect rhythm. The sun does not chase the sky. It simply rises, knowing that its presence is enough. This is how life is meant to be lived, not through struggle, but through harmony. The more one fights the current, the more exhausted they become. But the moment they surrender, they realize that everything they were chasing was always flowing toward them. At the core of this process is trust. Trust that the right opportunities will arise. Trust that the right people will enter one's life. Trust that even if things do not happen on a desired timeline, they are unfolding exactly as they should. Trust does not mean inaction. It means inspired action. It means moving forward, not from fear, but from certainty. When a person acts from a place of trust, their steps are lighter, their energy is clearer, and their results are greater. Embodying surrender also means understanding that external circumstances do not define inner peace. Most people live in a cycle of emotional dependence, allowing their mood to be dictated by what is happening around them. But true surrender means maintaining a steady inner state, regardless of external changes. It means being so deeply rooted in self-trust and alignment that nothing outside can shake one's foundation. And when a person reaches this state, the world bends to meet them because they have become the source of their own creation. Emotions are the language of the body, and energy is the currency of the universe. Every thought a person thinks generates a feeling, and that feeling creates a vibration that radiates beyond the physical form. The universe does not respond to words alone, it responds to the energy behind them. This is why embodying the feeling of already having what one desires is the most powerful way to bring it into reality. The challenge is that most people live in a state of emotional reaction. They allow their feelings to be dictated by external circumstances rather than consciously choosing the energy they want to embody. But the moment one understands that they are not just reacting to life, but actively creating it, everything begins to change. The human brain is wired to remember past experiences, especially those tied to strong emotions. This is a survival mechanism designed to help navigate the world by predicting future outcomes based on past events. But this same mechanism also keeps people trapped in repetitive cycles. If a person has spent years feeling unworthy, anxious, or fearful, their brain becomes conditioned to those emotions. Even when external circumstances change, they unconsciously seek out situations that reinforce those familiar feelings. The key to transformation is not just changing thoughts, but shifting emotional states. Every emotion carries a specific frequency. Emotions like love, gratitude, joy, and compassion vibrate at high frequencies, while emotions like fear, doubt, anger, and guilt vibrate at low frequencies. When a person consistently feels gratitude and love, they emit a strong, coherent signal that attracts experiences aligned with those states. But when they dwell in worry and lack, they reinforce a signal that keeps them stuck in limitation. The mind may say, I want abundance, but if the body is conditioned to feel scarcity, the signal being sent is one of lack. The universe does not respond to what a person wants, it responds to what they are. One of the most powerful ways to shift into a new state of being is to generate the emotions of already having what is desired. This is not about wishful thinking, it is about embodying the frequency of the outcome before it manifests. If a person wants more love in their life, they must feel love first. If they want success, they must feel successful now before external validation arrives. If they want healing, they must generate the feelings of wholeness before the body physically responds. This is how the quantum field operates. Energy precedes matter, and internal reality shapes external conditions. The reason most people struggle with this process is because they are addicted to their emotions. Just as the body can become addicted to substances, it can also become chemically addicted to stress, worry, or sadness. These emotions become familiar and the body craves them, even when they are destructive. This is why personal change feels difficult, not because it is impossible, but because the body resists unfamiliar states. The mind may desire transformation, but the body, conditioned by years of habitual emotions, pulls a person back into old patterns. Breaking this cycle requires conscious effort and consistent practice. Meditation, breath work, and visualization are tools that help shift emotional states. When a person takes time each day to silence the mental chatter, regulate their breath, and focus on elevated emotions, they begin to rewire their brain and body. Over time, the familiar pull of negative emotions weakens and a new emotional baseline is established. Instead of waiting for external events to change how they feel, they take control by deciding how they want to feel first. This is the essence of creation, becoming the source of one's own emotional and energetic state, rather than being at the mercy of circumstances. Another essential aspect of this process is trust. When a person generates the feeling of already having what they desire, they must also trust that it is on its way. Doubt and impatience create interference in the signal. If someone meditates on abundance but then spends the rest of the day worrying about money, they send mixed messages to the universe. The key is to maintain coherence, aligning thoughts, emotions, and actions in a consistent frequency. This does not mean pretending challenges do not exist. It means choosing not to be defined by them. The body follows the mind, and the mind follows the emotions. When a person consistently generates elevated emotions, their physiology changes. Their brain waves shift, their heart enters a state of coherence, and their nervous system moves into balance. This has profound effects on physical health. Stress hormones decrease, immune function improves, and the body begins to heal. But beyond the physical benefits, the most powerful shift occurs in reality itself. New opportunities arise, synchronicities become more frequent, and life begins to unfold in a way that feels effortless. The greatest mistake people make is waiting for something external to change before they allow themselves to feel the way they want to feel. They say, I will be happy when I find love, or I will feel successful when I reach my goal. But this approach reverses the natural order of creation. The feeling must come first. When a person learns to generate the emotion of their desired outcome without needing external validation, they become a match for that reality. They step into a state of allowing rather than chasing. And in that space, everything they once struggled to achieve begins to flow naturally into their life. The present moment is the only place where true creation happens. Most people live either in the past or in the future, constantly replaying old experiences or projecting their fears and desires onto what is to come. But the past is nothing more than a collection of memories, and the future is only a projection of the mind's expectations. When a person is caught in these loops, they disconnect from the now, the only moment where change, transformation, and manifestation can actually take place. Learning to fully embrace the present is not just a practice. It is a fundamental shift in the way one interacts with reality. Every thought about the past reinforces an existing neurological pathway. If a person constantly recalls old failures, betrayals, or disappointments, their brain strengthens those connections, making it more likely they will continue experiencing similar emotions and circumstances. The same applies to the future. If one repeatedly imagines worst-case scenarios or anxiously anticipates success, they condition their body to feel emotions related to events that have not even happened. The mind does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences. It simply responds to the emotions being generated. This is why people often feel anxious about situations that have not yet occurred or remain emotionally attached to events that happened years ago. Being free from this cycle requires presence. The more present a person becomes, the more they step outside the unconscious programs that dictate their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. In the present moment, there are no regrets, no fears, and no limitations. There is only what is happening now. When fully immersed in the now, a person moves beyond the conditioned mind and into a space of infinite potential. This is where intuition becomes clearer, creativity flows effortlessly, and synchronicities begin to appear. One of the biggest obstacles to living in the present is the addiction to thinking. The mind is constantly searching for problems to solve, attaching meaning to everything and trying to control outcomes. This endless inner dialogue creates a sense of urgency, making it difficult to simply be. But stillness is not emptiness. It is the gateway to profound transformation. When a person learns to quiet the mind, even for a moment, they create space for something greater to emerge. The most powerful insights, ideas, and realizations come not from overthinking, but from stillness. Another reason people struggle with presence is their attachment to identity. They define themselves based on their past experiences, their achievements, their struggles, and their beliefs. But the present moment offers something far greater. It offers the opportunity to step beyond those limitations and create something entirely new. A person is not bound by their history, they're only bound by their attachment to it. The more one releases identification with the past, the more freedom they have to design their future from a place of infinite possibility. The body also plays a crucial role in presence. Most people live in their minds, disconnected from their physical form. They are unaware of the tension they hold, the breath they shorten, or the emotions stored within. But the body is always in the present moment. It does not exist in the past or future. Learning to tune into bodily sensations, breath, and movement helps anchor awareness in the now. When a person fully inhabits their body, they become more conscious of their energy, their emotional state, and their ability to shift into higher frequencies. Presence also enhances relationships. Most interactions are clouded by mental noise. People are not truly listening, they are waiting to respond. They are projecting their own experiences, judgments, and assumptions onto others rather than fully engaging with what is being expressed. But when someone is fully present with another person, they create a space of deep connection. They are not reacting from past wounds or anticipating future responses. They are simply there, engaged, open, and aware. This level of presence transforms relationships, deepening trust, understanding, and authenticity. The greatest power of presence is that it dissolves resistance. Most struggles in life are born from resistance. Resistance to what is, resistance to change, resistance to uncertainty. But when one is fully present, they stop fighting reality. They accept what is happening without judgment, which allows them to respond from a place of clarity rather than fear. This does not mean passively accepting everything. It means choosing a state of inner peace regardless of external circumstances. From this space, inspired action naturally arises, leading to solutions, opportunities, and breakthroughs that would not have been possible through force alone. When a person masters presence, life becomes effortless. They no longer need to chase experiences because they are fully engaged with the experience of now. They do not anxiously await the future because they trust that everything they need is unfolding in perfect timing. They are not trapped by their past because they recognize that each moment is a fresh start. In this state, creation becomes fluid. Manifestations happen with ease, and reality aligns in ways that seem almost magical. Not because of luck or coincidence, but because the present moment holds the power to shape everything that comes next. When you stop chasing and start aligning, life unfolds in ways you never imagined. The struggle dissolves, the resistance fades, and suddenly everything you once pursued begins to find its way to you. This is not about inaction, it is about mastering the energy you emit. It is about stepping into a state of deep trust, embodying the emotions of your desired reality, and allowing the universe to meet you at that vibration. Silence is not emptiness, it is the space where all creation begins. When you quiet the noise of doubt, fear, and overthinking, you become a vessel for inspiration, for clarity, for the flow of life itself. The present moment is your greatest power. It is here in this stillness that you rewrite your future, not through force, but through alignment. So let go of control, surrender to the rhythm of life, and trust that everything is already on its way to you. You are not separate from your desires, you are already connected to them. And the moment you step into stillness, you will see that what you were looking for was always within you. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for embracing the power of the present moment. The universe is already conspiring in your favor.